What is you guys' definition of keeping it real?
Oh man, good question, Mark.
Pass now. For me, it's just kind of just being true to your word. Like if you could do stuff and then not feel like fake or ashamed afterwards after you did that action, then I think you're keeping it real for the most part.
Yeah, and you know it's funny. It changes as you get older in whatever industry you're in, man. Because I can't keep it real in the generic sense in acting and in the industry. Because I remember like mad fucking writers coming to me like during Grace and I'd be like, hey, between us, what do you think about this director? Or between us, what do you think about like this guest star that we had? And I would be like, between us, and they'd say yeah, and I'd answer them. The next day, every fucking writer knew, whoever I was talking about knew. And I'm like, oh, it doesn't work the same way.
It was the okie doke.
And I would like confront this writer, like, hey man, how dare you do this?
Right.
And then they go and tell the producers that I threatened them, and I'm like, oh shit, I really can't keep it real here. I can't be myself here. So keeping it real to me, honestly, man, it's what Mark said, and also being able.
It's hard to navigate.
It really is. It's like being able to adjust and adapt while still helping people and helping the people around you while being true to yourself. Like, some of the best advice I ever got was from somebody I'm not a big fan of, and I'll say his name is Steve Harvey. I used to work in radio, and he was a host there, and I remember him saying one time, yeah, it's been a minute, and he was like, the best thing you could do for a poor person is not be one. And as a kid, I was like, that's fucked up. But it's the truth. Like, how can you help somebody when you can't help yourself? And, like, if somebody's drowning and you can't swim, don't jump in the water because you're going to die too.
Right.
So, like, maneuvering in that way, like, all I want to do by keeping it real is by helping the next generation. I keep in touch with all the kids that I used to coach. I love, like, rapping with you guys and talking to you guys and seeing your growth and development and, like, new ideas and trying to take things further and, like, helping in any way that I can. Whether it be financially or just an ear to fucking to hear you out. So to me, that's keeping it real and honestly being good to your family and friends around you. But sadly, a lot of hood dudes don't think that's keeping it real
at all. And that's what I was gonna kind of get into, because for some reason in our communities, the whole thing of keeping it real, that whole phrase usually is met with some sort of violence or stupidity, which I never understand because, like in high school and shit, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a pretty smart kid. I'm not gonna lie, right? Back at Jordan or whatever, that was something that was not looked good upon at all.
Cool.
It's not cool. Like, you know how many bitches was like, you fine, but nigga, you...
But you got straight A's?
Like, why are you doing your homework? Like, what are you doing? Like,
fucking nerd.
Like, I was on the baseball team starting. They didn't give a fuck. Like, and I'm like, I'm popping out here. No, nothing. Not because I listen in class and whatever. But every dude who, quote unquote, kept it real or whatever, they were doing dumb shit or selling weed in school, which I always thought was stupid. And
money.
It's not. It's really not, because like half the people scared to buy that shit anyways. Like, who you selling it to?
I mean, more money than not have it. It's more money than zero. That's what I'm saying.
But
it's a deal in high school.
But there was like I always say, like, girls back then, they liked the thugs, the drug dealers, and just like the tough dudes or whatever. Like, you couldn't be an average regular nigga
You
back
couldn't be
then.
a childish Gambino.
You couldn't
Right.
at all.
That shit wasn't cool in our day.
At all. So like you had to.
We're the same age.
This is why, like, it sucks, because you had to sometimes portray characters, and I'm gonna say characters, because like most of the time, a lot of us, we was faking like a motherfucker, because we was scared to do certain shit or whatever. But you knew, like, growing up, it's like some certain shit you just couldn't let slide because it was gonna be worse. Yeah. So there were situations I got into as a kid or whatever that I remember one distinct one, right? There was this kid who had said something about my little sister. My little sister is autistic, right? So this kid was like, he was way bigger than me or whatever, right? And, we in the hood and everything, we all outside, and then he says, like, man, why your sister look like that? Everyone goes like, ooh, and everything. So, like, me, I'm like 8 maybe, right? And I'm like, should I feel offended? Because in my mind, I'm like, he didn't say anything offensive. He said, why does your sister look like that?
But it was implied.
Right.
But it was implied, right? And I'm like, how do I how do I respond to this?
Yeah.
And then like the homies was like, man, I fucked that nigga up and everything like that. And I'm like,
Of course.
never been in a fight before. Okay, let me gauge this. In my literal response, all right, so this is y'all knowing me now, but back then, nah. All right, so my literal response was like, "Hey man, I ain't say nothing about your sister." And niggas was like,
Dwayne coming back.
"Don't say nothing about my sister." And he was like, "I was just saying everything." I was like, "Yeah," and then in my mind I was like, "Oh fuck, I have no idea what was gonna happen," right? And that's what I'm talking about, where it grows, because from that point on or whatever, it was like, all right, no matter how stupid the situation is or whatever, like you can't turn around, not in these circumstances, or you can't be a quote unquote a bitch, whatever, because
There's no turning the cheek.
there's none of that, right?
Yeah.
So then fast forward, like a couple months later, we're playing these kids at the park right by we're at DeForest Park. Anyone knows that park? Legendary Long Beach Park for a lot of shit going down. But we're at DeForest Park, and I'm like 8, 9, and we're playing these kids in tackle football who were like 14, 15. And this one big dude, he was trying to run me over, whatever. So I grab him, I tackle him and everything. He got upset, right? And he was like, nigga, you grab my shirt again, I'm gonna fuck you up and everything like that. And of course, this is me getting into like my developmental years, and I was like, fuck you, nigga, do it or whatever, right? So of course, I'm like, oh, so he turned around and he's like, what? And all my friends that are like, we're all different ages, so like one of them was
Quick,
like,
formation M.
one of them's like 11, one of them's like fucking 13 or whatever. They're like, touch that nigga, I swear I'm gonna jump your ass and everything like that. And it was like weird because it was like, oh shit. It was like this adrenaline, like, oh fuck, I'm in a situation now, but I'm ready for it and everything like that. But shit like that bred a lot of dumb decisions because that was rewarded, which it shouldn't have been rewarded.
Right.
And that's kind of what I'm trying to get to with all this stuff. I feel like keeping it real, people think doing really dumb shit and being a quote-unquote tough guy in the wrong moments, it will breed this, like, just this life of this shit. Yeah. And then we all end up doing a lot of dumb stuff that isn't really cool. Because honestly, keeping it real is being able to take care of your people.
Keeping it real is actually boring.
Right. Like, it's very boring. Like,
it's like when people use that phrase, it's the equivalent to be like, oh, come on, don't be a bitch.
Right.
It's like they're trying to get you to do something, even though they know it's going to, like, probably fuck you up later. No consequences for me.
Right.
But,
and 9 times out of 10, it's getting you to do something that they ain't going to do.
Exactly.
They're not going to do it at all. And I had to learn that super early on because I didn't have brothers or anything like that. And all my cousins were, like, far this way. So, like, my male influences, honestly, were just niggas I grew up with on the streets. Mm-hmm. So, there was, like, I'm not ashamed. I was raised by a lot of gangbangers and gang members. Like, I'm not gonna front at all. So, like, the way I'm wired to a degree is, like, I have to meet what's the word? I'm fucking blanking. Meet any sort of, like, discomfort with, like, I have to be aggressive. I can't be like, nah, you gonna slide. But I'm learning, now that I'm out of the hood, I can't do that. Like,
but you were, like, it's weird because I always saw you, you were always a good kid.
Right.
In my opinion.
Right.
And I know so many kids out there that are like that, but because keeping it real, and then you start fighting, and then you start, like, jumping people, that shit changes you immediately. Immediately. And then you have to relearn this shit the older you get, because once you start working, if you keep it real and fight at a job, you're fired. So the older you get, the more you're learning, and that's why I can't fuck with a lot of people that I used to fuck with back in the days, because, man, I tell anybody that I love, like, in person, I love you, man. And, like, motherfuckers still think that's weird. I'm like, why is it weird that I'm telling you how I actually feel? You're thinking this shit.
Shit gay.
But you can't say, yeah,
Shit is
man,
gay.
you gay, man, you acting gay. I'm like, all I'm telling you is that I fucking love you, man. I've known you for 10 years.
I'm trying to kiss you or anything. Unless that's on the table. No, I'm not trying to.
But on the real, like, acting helped me open up so much bullshit, all the cool shit that you have growing up, and all the keeping it real bullshit that you have growing up. And it just made me be open with people, because this is how I feel. And I went to too many funerals as a kid where I was like, I'm hearing all these people talk about, man, I wish I would have told him that, how much he meant to me. And I wish I would have told him how much he inspired me. I wish I told him how much he loved me. So I used to always be like, okay, I'm just going to tell people. And motherfuckers used to think I was so weird for that shit. But I'm like, why do we have to wait till we're old to be able to help and to be able to tell people? And I feel like, coming back to what Nipsey was, I feel like Nipsey was just that dude that he was able to keep it real while being good to his people and helping everybody out and just still being a normal dude. So I don't know the fucking way to do it right. And I don't know what it's going to take for minorities in general to get past that bullshit of trying to be cool and trying to keep it real and just be a fucking good person. I feel like it's changed a lot since my day, because when I was in high school, motherfuckers they wouldn't be the way they are now. Like, I remember watching my kids while I was coaching and how, like, in a way, affectionate they were with each other. Like,
Right.
they'd be like, love you, bro. Even if it was joking, it was different from, it would never happen in my day.
Right.
And I like that it's changing. And I like that, like, you know, when fucking Pharrell came out, you know, dressing like a skateboard kid, it made a whole generation of black and Latin kids feel comfortable dressing how they wanted to dress. And I feel like every year that passes, that's slowly becoming more and more normal. And it's not like it's no longer, oh, well, that's how black people dress. That's how Mexican people dress. That's how Asian people dress. It's just becoming more eclectic. So I feel like it's coming to a good point where we could actually open up, and keeping it real doesn't have to be some bullshit gangbanging shit. So it's slowly changing.